This is Bill Burr, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, baby.
Oh, I'm ready, Ryan. You good?
Long Cox.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Ooh, welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, second the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog.
Disgusting acts of treason have occurred.
That is a disgusting act.
Would have worked.
I noticed your Davis Webb jersey is not on. I of course broke the news yesterday.
Fuck off, Sean.
That
the bit's over. You're pro coward.
No. I just
You're pro
said,
coward.
I said I made the mistake by saying Tyrod Taylor was going to start. It never occurred to me.
Yeah, you're just like all the rest of the reporters, fraudulent.
No
real news, just throwing darts.
No, I had the news that Davis Webb was going to be elevated in the practice squad. I had no idea he'd actually be starting. I'd like to read this tweet. You play to win the game, point blank, period. JJ Watt said it best the other day. Outside of how it affects us, this is just disrespectful to the game. Darius Slayton.
I mean, your bit's horrible, though.
Sickening.
Your bit's horrible.
Why on God's green earth is Jalen Hurts not in the game?
So unlike you, I'm not going to sit here and put myself in the turnstile because, I needed to see Nate Sudfeld all those years ago. This is a horrible decision. I'm looking into the fan transfer portal right now.
Wow.
I understand why people who I understand how someone could rationalize getting to a point where they would want to sit down their entire team and play their third string quarterback who you probably promised to start because he's one of your boys and he's going to be the quarterback's coach eventually, maybe an assistant. This is his last hurrah. They're going to show up in the playoffs flat. When they lose in the playoffs because they showed up flat, this is going to be the reason why. I do not understand the concept of resting starters when you're a fringe team. This is not a team that is loaded with studs. This is not a team with guys who you need to get a look at, who's a backup. This is not a team like you don't need to know what you got in Davis Webb. Guess what? Dave Gettleman drafted him all those years ago. Great symmetry. Great fucking symmetry. If I'm coaching this team, this is not how I'm handling it. Period. I'm not going to read the fucking newsletter from the team like you do and just go all in.
No. What do you mean?
This is horrible decision. This is a horrible decision. Your offense is finally playing well, and you're just going to pump the brakes and throw in the fucking backup. How does that work?
No, in the Jalen Hurts situation, I said I would have played Jalen Hurts the entire game. Doug Peterson earlier in the week said he was planning on getting Nate Sudfeld reps, and he put him in the game.
How'd it work for the Titans? Rested those start. Oh, they were so rested for that game against Jacksonville. How'd that go?
Oh, how'd that go? I thought they actually played well.
Out of the playoffs.
I think
out of the playoffs.
I mean, I think it was because Josh Dobbs sucked, and Josh Dobbs did play. I mean, Josh Dobbs doesn't throw that, pick six. I think they win the game. So I don't know if there's not a easy, obvious answer. I'm with you. If I was Dable, I would at least play the starters for the first quarter. Maybe even the first half, give them a look against a team that beat them by 26 points.
It's
in
not
their
about
house.
giving them a look. There's three things that went wrong this week. One, yes. I appreciate preparing like normal. But if you prepare like normal, you're not giving the guys that you want to get a look from any practice reps.
It does defeat the purpose.
So from the perspective of cool, the guys who are resting, they practiced all week. That's a positive. But now you're throwing guys out to what? You pulling a Jeff Saturday? Going to get some guys hurt out there? We're going to see some snow angels with Davis Webb seizuring on the ground because he lost his wind? What are we doing right now? We've normalized the world.
Wow. This is a great take in the chat.
We've normalized a world where resting like the fucking NBA is okay. That's what we've done. Congratulations. This started with the Nate Sudfeld experiment.
Oh wow, so many great chats.
And apologies if the Discord's broken. I did kind of fuck my phone up when I was snowboarding, so if it sucks, our bad.
Friend of the program, Sully, checking in saying Kramer wasted a lot of time reading the full interviews. Could have just went with the snippets.
Oh great, another guy who likes bits. Nice bit, Sully.
Right.
How the Commanders doing right now?
I haven't gotten
A trio circle jerk of quarterbacks who all suck. Coach is a retard. Apologize my terminology.
Sully's take on Major Tutty. Hopefully he's pro Major Tutty. Did the Hamlin injury change his mind? Do you think, Ryan? Ryan, do you think the Hamlin?
Wow, see that's tasteless. I don't know who that is in the chat, but hopefully they can go to church today and repent for those sins.
We've gone all this far into the show, and I still haven't gotten to tout about my Chigo Conquo anytime touchdown. Also got you the first.
That's because you were doing bits, Sean. Now you're off the bit.
I wasn't doing bits. I said they weren't going to play their starters the entire week, and they didn't.
Well, if we really want to get into it, we did have an actual conversation about this. And what did I say the line would do when the actual news of the starters not going come out? What happened to the number?
I said it would go up a half a point, which
and I said it would go to 16.5.
Okay, it was at 14.5, and then that was when they thought it was Tyrod. And then when Davis Webb got announced instead of Tyrod, that bumped it up again. You're right. I never thought Davis Webb was.
No, the conversation was, is this number indicative of starters resting? And I said, no, it's not. They're splitting the difference.
And I said it's pretty close. I said it'll go up slightly.
Wow. I predicted it exactly. So I'm going to take a dub on that one. But I don't like this move.
Yeah.
And God help them if they come out. Like, how do you answer the questions if you come out flat? What if someone gets hurt on the first play of the playoff game, Sean?
Well, you should be.
Then they can't play in the rest of the playoff game.
You should be resting them in the wild card round.
Adoree Jackson, you know what would be great? Adoree Jackson getting some reps before he has to go heads up with Justin Jefferson. That might be good.
Black Kirk Cousins wants to know. Boston's got 2 touchdowns. I looked at the touchdown price. You know, I guess I'm okay with it, but they really destroyed the odds. Like his anytime touchdown is plus 180. I do like Boston Scott and DFS, but it feels like they really took the horrible pricing out of it. Like they're factoring.
We ruined the market.
We really have destroyed it. And Chigo Conquo almost got that second touchdown. It went right through his hands.
We're almost like the NBA in scheduled rest. We've ruined it for everyone.
So many questions to get to. We will be answering your questions. Kramer as a first half parlay if he's not too enraged.
Maybe I'm resting my starters this week since it doesn't fucking matter.
Deonta Foreman might have a game. Check on his injury stuff. I do think he's gonna go, but I
don't even have a tab open right now. No notes. Fuck everything.
Wait, Black Kirk Cousins is saying anytime is plus 460 on FanDuel for Boston Scott. We may have to pause the show.
That's not correct.
No, because I saw it at like 180, so that's what made me not interested. But if that somehow is back at plus 460 for Boston Scott, I'm definitely in.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh wow, it is. All right, breaking news. I'm back in. Boston Scott, anytime touchdown at plus 460.
How is that a real price?
It was at 180.
Do they not understand that Boston Scott has never not scored a touchdown against the Giants?
And 41 to it just went from 41 to 1 to 20 to 1
for first touchdown.
No, for 2 touchdowns.
I mean, he's literally played 7 games, and in those 7 games, he's scored a touchdown in every game.
Wow, it literally, I saw the number change from 41 to 1 to 20 to 1. Oh, and now it's down to 310.
As soon as you try to get in on it, they know. Here's the problem. They understand who you are when you're coming from the office of the SGPN headquarters. They just prune them down.
Got our IP mark.
I'm surprised you were able to get Chig at 9 to 1. That's impressive. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Almost like you played to win the game.
Do we want to do a DFS lineup, Ryan? Are you in a mental headspace that you can do a DFS lineup?
I mean, do we really want to waste our times with a DFS lineup?
Okay. Yeah, now it's all the way down to 310. Wow, this Boston Scott price is jumping all over the place like it's a hot tamale.
Give me a second. I can queue up a DFS thing. Oh, I know what I was trying to do. I was trying to pull out the first half parlay.
Okay.
I saw the chat was hoping we'd still get a first half parlay in light of this horrible news on,
there must be someone at these books watching the show. This is like literally as we're talking Boston Scott, goes from 41 to 1 to 20 to 1.
I was watching a competitor's live stream where they were releasing some picks. And I think these people just get off on the idea of releasing a pick just to watch the screen tick down We need a screen for first touchdown. So when we talk about it, people can understand that the screen is moving. All right, I'll quickly give out a first half parlay. Quickly.
Okay.
Because this week doesn't matter. We're gonna take the Dolphins on the money line. I just did a money line parlay. I don't even know how much this pays. Let's see. This is about a 20-1 banger. So we're taking Dolphins money line. We're taking Steelers money line. We're taking Texans money line. We're taking Falcons money line. And I wanted to bring this to you, Sean.
Yeah.
In light of Baltimore also saying, you know what, we don't need to play to win the game. Do we take Baltimore plus 6.5 for the first half? Do we include that in there? Or is that just reckless at this point? What are you doing? Playing some blackjack? Baltimore first half. Do we include it in the parlay?
No, like the Steelers.
No, they're playing the Bengals, Sean. See, you're acting like Brian Dable over here, practicing all week.
I'm resting my brain,
and then throwing Dave. First of all, you idiots who said it was Davis Mills, how many people came into my mentions calling him Davis Mills? Maybe you're referencing Ian Rappaport being a bad reporter and not knowing his name once again. Are you playing Baltimore first half?
No. Yeah. No, because it sounds like Anthony Brown might go. I'm not.
No, it definitely sounds like he's going to.
Yeah.
Go. All right, so those are my first four. I was gonna have a dialogue on the show since I wanted something to matter today. So in light of what do you think? So let's see. The Cincy Baltimore line first half is still sitting at 7 now. Do you take Baltimore plus 7 or do you lay it with Burrow? I wanted to be I kind of wanted to be a little contrarian here
and take Baltimore.
Cincy's so angry.
Oh, I love Cincy now. Like how their response.
I know, but the spread. This is the classic case where it's baked into the spread. You know what? I'm not touching it. Baltimore plus. So Miami, Pittsburgh, Houston, Atlanta, all on the money line, and then give me Baltimore plus 7. That's going to pay you about 20-1. I did it.
All righty.
I didn't start my third string parlay this week. I don't understand the logic as to how this is a good thing. Is it not a scared take? Like rest guys who are hurt, I get that. But is it not a take of cowardly coaching? I just hear what Tom Coughlin said. How do I go to this team after I've strategically taken them out of a position to win a game? How do you coach that?
Yeah.
No, you're checked out.
No, I said they were going to rest their starters.
No, stop doing the bit where you were right.
Oh, okay.
I'm asking you how is this a good coaching move?
I don't know. I don't get it. And I also don't get the jerking around thing. Like, who are you fooling? The line told you they were never playing their starters. I don't know why you go on with the charade of like you going to play in your starters. And to your point, if you're going to play Davis Webb, you're putting Davis Webb and some of these other guys in really bad spots by not giving them a full week of practice. Like the reason, to your point, why Nick Foles got destroyed is probably he's not familiar with the blitz pickups or whatever it is.
He said this himself.
He didn't know the offense. Like
he literally said this out loud.
Yeah. Tons of picks coming in the chat. Terrell Furman, Sam Howell, anytime touchdown. Brown, anytime touchdown. Washington plus 7.5.
Sounds good.
100-1. That's kind of fun. De'Ami Brown, 2 touchdowns, 100-1. And Jake had some De'Ami Brown stuff he was throwing out there. Moneyline Mac from the College Basketball Podcast, plus 18500. Steelers tie, Jets win, Bills win. I mean,
is that the scenario? Is there a scenario where someone gets in with a tie?
I think the Steelers would get in with a tie.
They
in this scenario they would get in. I'm pretty sure.
We can't do a tie at the end of the year 2 years in a row.
If there's anyone to tie, I mean, Steelers Ravens, I think would be that is just so obviously a tie.
You keep wanting the Steelers to play the Ravens. Steelers Browns. I'm sorry, I'm all mixed up. Yeah, it's week 18. It doesn't matter.
I'm resting my brain. Miami to make the playoffs plus 106. All they need is a win and Pat's loss versus Bills. So I think I would look at what the Dolphins money line is parlayed with the Bills money line. I think that might actually end up being better than plus 106. So just double check that.
Yeah, I was having a little bit of a conference call with friend of the program Bowser on some sweet correlated parlays you can get in on. Certainly play the playoff scenarios, right? Like especially if you want to be a homer and your team's got a little bit of a long shot. If they get in, you're going to want a little extra money to pad.
Yeah, and obviously double check, because you'd be surprised how many times the sports books mess up the pricing difference. Like,
oh my god,
whatever outcome you need versus make the playoffs. Just
almost certainly it will be not the same.
Yeah, I would bet it's 100%, because what they'll do is they'll move the money lines on the games and then not end up adjusting the future price. So there's always going to be a better value on one side of those.
Well, you have the future pool. Like the future pools get hit with get adjusted more for liability than anything, whereas the other ones won't. And so
rattling off a couple other DFS guys that I like that we hadn't talked about on the DFS show. Corey Clement is an interesting play out in Arizona.
It's preseason DFS we're dealing with here.
Well, no, because and he's one of those guys. Him and Keontae Ingram, Cliff Kingsbury. James Conner not playing, DeAndre Hopkins not playing. So again, I talked about Greg Dortch, but I also think there's a world where Corey Clement has a good game. I think they're going to use him in the passing game. If there's any running back that could randomly pop in a DraftKings style tournament and get like 7 catches, it might be Corey Clement. I think they're going to use him a bunch in the easy passing game. So he's a guy worth looking out, keeping an eye on. And Tyler Conklin, Garrett Wilson, now that Joe Flacco is in, he loves both those guys. I think last time he played, Garrett Wilson had something crazy like 14 targets. So if you're insane like me and you're playing a Joe Flacco, Garrett Wilson lineup, that's something fun to toss in there.
Yeah, so here would be the examples of like New England to make the playoffs is not as good as parlaying the Jets and the Browns, which is what has to happen. You already missed the Jacksonville leg of the parlay, but I think it's still worth doing Jets Cleveland parlayed over Patriots make the playoffs, because it doesn't matter in their game. They can win or lose, Sean. If the Jets and the Browns both win, the Patriots are in regardless. So you can kind of take one of the other scenario is they win, obviously. So you do get that sprinkled into your make playoffs, but they're a huge dog. And I would say it's probably artificial to inflate it that way. So Jets, Browns, if you like the Patriots to make the playoffs. For the Steelers to make the playoffs, it's a Bills, Jets, Steelers parlay.
And if you guys missed it on the prop show, one of my the DGen only play was Chig 2 touchdowns, but then obviously I'm running back my Reggie Gilliam anytime touchdown. It
was a push the first time, so
it was. So I'm running it back. He's Reggie Gilliam anytime touchdowns 26-1, which is an insane price, and then a little sprinkle on his first touchdown 100-1. If you recall, they took it off the board some places, so hopefully you got it. If you recall, he had a 7-yard catch in the red zone against the Bengals, and Patriots are noticeably worse than the Bengals against the tight end when it comes to touchdowns. Patriots are second in the league most touchdowns allowed to the tight end position. Only the Arizona Cardinals are worse with 11 touchdowns allowed. So that's where I'm at. Any contract incentive stuff?
I got my notes here.
Okay.
The stuff that I a lot of it was in the Jacksonville game. So using that as a reference point, I think we even talked about it. Like, be careful. Jacksonville actually has to win the game. But moving past the Saturday stuff, I mean, we kind of discussed this. Isaiah McKenzie can get a little bit of a bump. 100K with a 47 yard receiving day. Needs 10 receptions. They'll get another additional 100K. But they do seem to like him up there. So from a yardage perspective, I like that. Heavily invested in the Hayden Hurst ladder. For those who don't know, 2 receptions gets him 125K. 100 yards gets him 125K. 3 touchdowns gets him 125K. I don't think he gets all 3 of those, but you bet your ass I played him all the way up to like over 80 receiving yards, Sean. What did I tell you that was last night? Like 25-1, just 18. Something insane. If your Hayden Hurst ladders are still out there where you can get 60 plus, 70 plus, 80 plus, and they're like in the 15, 20, 25 to 1 range, I certainly would play that a little bit. You're probably late on the receptions. I saw it moved up to 3.5 with some plus juice, maybe even 4.5. I'd still maybe play it. That's a good one. Samaje Perine, 124 rushing yards. In light of the Ravens maybe laying down in this one, we could see Perine maybe take some work away from Mixon to get his bonus. This is like a 500-yard bonus, so he has 376, and he just needs 124. Other places. If we zoom to the night game, Khalif Raymond would be a guy to target. He was
just on my list. What
He's 7 catches and 50 yards will earn him $500,000.
I like his and play the catches yards if you like. Khalif Raymond anytime touchdown 7 to 1. Love that price. Love the opportunity against this.
My only defense. Like this is like the Jacksonville game to me. I don't know if Khalif Raymond is going to have enough like organic opportunity to get both of these. Now, could they get him the yardage? Maybe 7 catches is a lot when there's a lot of mouths to feed up there.
No, yeah, I would just play his over catches. But like he's clearly a part of the offense. He's out there like 35% of the time.
Yeah, I'm just saying this a 7 catch 50-yard outing. 50 yards seems more realistic.
He still has a goose egg on the year for touchdowns, which is crazy considering the amount of targets, catches he's had. So I think he's due for a touchdown. So Khalif Raymond plus 700.
And shout out to his agent. 600 receiving yards gets you a $250,000 bonus. 50 catches. I mean, that's a little bit more realistic. All right, and then Jamal Williams. 6 rushing yards. Can't do much with this one. 6 rushing yards gets him $250,000. Now, last couple guy you like, DeAndre Carter. He's all over the incentive list this week. 2 catches, $100K, 55 yards, $100K, and 2 touchdowns, $100K. He might be a fun multi-touchdown guy. If the Ravens lose, we know what that means. For the Chargers. We were touting a Ravens Chargers money line parlay for that scenario. It seems like with the A, you can get a better price on that today. B, it seems like the Ravens aren't going to be going full bore, which means DeAndre Carter, who's kind of their utility guy, great opportunity if Keenan Allen gets some additional rest for him to plow over these incentives. I certainly, if you can still get any sort of decent stuff on this, probably I would lean
DeAndre Carter anytime touchdowns plus 410. Do you think that's factoring in?
What's the 2 touchdown?
2 touchdowns.
I would play the yardage here and maybe a ladder.
2 touchdowns, 18 to 1. I don't think that's that good.
They're factoring it in. They're getting a lot of liability on DeAndre Carter because of these incentives. Gerald Everett 5 catches for $250,000. Worth noting because that's right. Catch prop. Maybe play the ladder on the receptions for him. Debo 152 rushing yards. I don't even know why this one's being publicized. There's 0% chance the Niners are going to give him a chance to rush for 152 yards, but that does get him $500,000. Again, lawyer fail right there. His agent fucking him right in the butt. And then Tyler Higbee, 13 receiving yards for $125K. Can't do much with that either. So, I don't know. Anything else like things that I've heard people talk about that I noted down? I know some folks are pointing out Tom Brady only needs 390 to get to 5,000. Yeah. I don't think he's going to play enough to get that.
He'll play like one drive.
He does only need 12 pass attempts to break the single season record. Not sure if that's a proud record, but worth noting. And then everyone else, it's like a lot of guys on teams that probably don't need to go full bore. So I would say, like, to me, when I evaluated all this, I like your Raymond angles. I like the Hayden Hurst angles. I like the DeAndre Carter angles because it makes sense with the game flow.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Yeah. No, man. So many picks.
Felt like a lot, but
so much sweats. One more. Shout out to Caleb Bacon. Follow him. Know him from back in the day. He tweeted this red zone special out that I saw that is pretty fun. Each team scores 2 touchdowns in the 1 p.m. East game. Ryan, I forget. Did I tell you the price?
You did.
Okay, so I again, it's one of these where you're like, oh yeah, that's easy. If you actually walk through it, you're like, someone's going to screw that up. But it's 270 to 1. Each team to score 2 touchdowns. That's a fun long shot. 270 to 1.
No, I definitely assume I have a little piece of that. The chart, Cameron Kerr in the chat, just real quick correction. The Chargers will not be having to do anything. The reason the Denver line is growing correlated to the Cincy line because Chargers only need to go hard if the Ravens win. If not, they're locked into a 5 seed. And the Ravens are locked into playing the Bengals again in Cincy if they lose. One other thing to note, it's important.
So you could do a Ravens Chargers money line parlay, right? Was that one on their list?
But the inverse of that is where, because the lines are both growing. Yeah, you could, if the Ravens decide to fuck around and win that game, then the Chargers. This parlay, this parlay is getting quite silly. So you're talking about a 11 point dog and a 5 point dog now. When we were breaking it down, it was a 7 point dog and a 2 point dog.
That's what I'm saying. It's kind of
Yeah, they're correlated, so you certainly can put them together. One other note. I like to sometimes look at the press conference stuff, Sean, whether it leads me astray or not. But Brown's offensive coordinator was making note of wanting to get guys back getting past their previous career highs.
Oh,
okay. Amari Cooper, 81 yards for a new high. But here's the sneaky one. Our guy David Njoku needs 2 because that's who it was publicized. He was speaking about Amari Cooper, but Njoku needs 2 catches and 54 yards to do the same thing. So we're a big fan of the tight end. So maybe we sprinkle an Njoku. What do you think about this? An Njoku, Hayden Hurst, and maybe a DeAndre Carter anytime parlay there. A little contract incentive.
I would take out Njoku and put in Khalif Raymond. The Deshaun Watson stuff is just, I don't know.
It's a good matchup this week though. I think he can give the Steelers defense some problems. All right.
Hey, that'll do it for the pregame show. Tune in, subscribe late night after the Sunday night games. We'll know all the playoff matches. We'll be talking about that.
Oh, one more thing. A lot of steam for Chris Olave winning Rookie of the Year with a big game this weekend. Okay. So I would shop it. Are the props better? Is the Rookie of the Year award better in terms of where you can get the best price? Maybe you play a ladder on him because if he goes off, he catches it, I think.
So hey, toss us a like in the YouTube chat. Got 113 people watching, only 7 thumbs up.
What?
You guys call yourselves fans? I mean, come on. If you got paid on the Chig thing and you're not giving us a thumbs up, not hitting subscribe, not tossing us a nice rating review, the show is free. The picks are free. We'll be back tonight.
25-1 for Chris Olave, Rookie of the Year.
Really?
If he has a 100 yard plus game today.
Okay. Who's the leader right now?
Kenneth Walker. But it's like, it's been,
really?
It's such a bummer.
I mean, if Kenny Pickett, what is he at?
Just listen to the, we'll close the show out with this. Kenneth Walker -140. Garrett Wilson +210. Both very disappointing selections for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy 450. That seems a little crazy. He's played not many games, but he is a quarterback. Kenny Pickett 18-1. Christian Watson 25-1. Olave 25-1.
I swear, if Kenny Pickett, if they get into the playoffs, 18-1. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I have a piece of that. I think it was 30-1.
Yeah.
All right, let's get out of here. Watch football.
Let's go. And again, we'll be back tonight after the late game.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
What will we recap? Nothing's happening today.
Ryan's gonna go get his Davis Webb jersey on.
We'll see if I actually watch this game.
Oh wow!
Like I said, I'm poking the eye in the tram. I thought about clearing out my locker, change the social media like players today, but I realized I'm a boomer and that's not my style. So just checking out, see what I'll evaluate some fans in week 18, see who's going hard, see who's not.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, stacking the money green, and he is Ryan.
Have a good day, Sean
Kramer. Let it ride.